Hi, this is My Two Favorite Librarians. I'm Denise Corey.
I'm Chantel Taylor, and today we're going to talk about 2019 reading resolutions.
Because it's New Year's Eve.
So, I love Christmas. I could care less about New Year's Eve.
I love New Year's Eve. My friend throws a really fun party, and I'm going to go to that. This year, it's a pajama party.
I approve of that.
And we play games. It's super fun.
So first things first, we're announcing our unofficial 2018 reading numbers.
I thought we were doing that next week.
No, we're going to do it this week, and then we'll announce it on social media.
Okay.
In January, because technically
I could read more books today.
Oh, totally. As of right now, because we're recording this in advance, we're not sitting here on December 31st.
We are definitely not sitting here on January 31st, which I don't believe exists.
Oh, I don't know. Anyway, we are going to tell each other the amount of books we've read because it's a bit of a competition. I don't really care. Denise really cares.
I really care.
And then the first
Chantel
week of January.
is kicking my butt. You know, there is a January 31st.
The first week of January, we're going to officially announce our actual number. So as of this date right now, how many books have you read, Denise?
I have read 79. It is not good.
How many books are you currently reading right now that you can at least expect to finish?
I have one that I will probably finish today. But I usually have 3 books on the go at any one time.
Okay, so it's been a really bad year.
It's been a bad year.
So I currently have read 122 books, and I currently have...
You should see the look on her face, so smug.
I have 3 books on the go right now that I expect to finish, and I'm trying to beat my total, even just by one book, of 127, which was my high 2 years ago, I think, or 3 years ago.
Yeah, and that year she beat me too.
Yes. So,
one of my reading resolutions for this year is, for 2019, because I guess it's still 2018, is to read 100 books this year. I make that resolution most years, and when I don't make 100 books, I feel bad.
We're also going to do a show in the future, I think, about how many books we have left in our lifetime. That might be a January show.
Yeah, maybe.
Where we talk about, time is very precious, and like we were saying today, we're at the peak of the hill, just slightly over the peak of the hill, and we're counting down to how many books we have left in our lifetime. We hope we've got another 40 years.
I hope.
Of reading.
My other reading resolution for 2019 is to complete the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge.
Which you've talked about this year too.
Yep. So the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge for 2019 is out. It's on their website, so you can take a look. And I like to do these reading challenges because it gets me outside of my regular genres, and it gets me sort of out of my comfort zone.
And you were debating even sort of doing our radio show, quoting marks, sort of around each of those prompts this year.
Yeah, but then you would have to read things that you don't like.
No, that's not going to happen. So how many categories are there in Pop Sugar?
There are 50.
Oh, that's quite a few. Okay.
Yeah. So, that would be half of my reading.
Yes. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, if you read 100 books a year, it's almost 2 books a week.
Yeah.
And it didn't really occur to me that I read 2 books a week. Although, of course, I didn't this year because I'm not going to get that number. But
you shouldn't feel bad about yourself. It's okay.
Another thing that I really want to do is read Les Miserables.
Again.
And this will... No, not again.
No, I mean, again, it's your goal. Because
it's been my goal before. I bought the book. But it's huge. It's 1,200 pages.
And it's like sort of like Game of Thrones, but like in French. You're not reading it in French, but the
I'm not
names are
reading it in
French.
French.
There's a lot of characters going around and a lot of...
Yes. Yeah.
Couldn't you just watch the musical?
Where
Hugh Jackman?
where Catwoman sings to Wolverine.
Oh, yeah, Anne Hathaway, yeah.
Catwoman sings to Wolverine. That's how I heard it described, and I was like, oh, yeah. That's
Do you
it.
have more resolutions?
I don't. What are your reading resolutions?
So we have very different ways of picking books because I'm not doing a challenge this year. I basically just pick up books as I find them. Now, last year, one of the reasons I do have such a big number in 2018 is that I did my graphic novel class at the library. And so I read a lot of graphic novels. I read like 80 plus graphic novels, I think was my final total. I was going for 100, but I didn't quite make it.
So that's a reading resolution, trying to read 100 graphic novels.
But this year, I don't have anything so concrete. I usually aim for about like 50 to 75 books, depending on what kind of a reading year I'm having. This year, I just kept going over and going over and going over. So now I'm just trying to rub Denise's nose in it.
Because she knows that I'm competitive.
It's true.
What are you reading right now?
So I've been listening to the Fated Mates podcast with Sarah McLean, and I'm reading along with the series, and I'm way behind. So I'm on the third book in the series called No Rest for the Wicked by Cressley Cole, and it's the Immortals After Dark series. So I'm hoping over Christmas that I can catch up. I mean, we're recording this in advance. Technically, this is after Christmas.
So that's the one, it's like a supernatural romance?
Well, I wouldn't call it a romance technically. Well, no. I would call it a romance because in each book, they're finding their mate. They're finding their fated mate. So yes, it's kind of a supernatural fantasy. There's a lot of world building. There's the lore and the Valkyrie and the vampires and the...
that doesn't sound like you at all.
It's Sarah McLean in the podcast.
Yeah.
I had tried this book before and I didn't really like it. It was on her list, and then they were talking about it, and I thought, okay, I'm going to try, and I am really enjoying it. And if I wasn't doing so much knitting right now, I might be able to get through all 18 books in a couple of weeks because they're that good. If I could sit down and read, I would devour them.
Wow.
And I have started, we only have the first one at the library, and I've started buying them. I like them that much.
So what's interesting is when you knit, if you had those books on audio, you could be listening to them while you knit.
Although I listened to a sample on Audible and I don't like his voice, so I don't know if I could listen to it. But maybe I'll get you to order a couple on audiobook just to test them out.
I'm reading Nudge, Improving Decisions About Health, Wealth, and Happiness by Richard Thaler and Cass Sunstein.
Excellent New Year's book.
It's actually trying to finish up the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge in 2018 by, this is a book that I saw a stranger reading. There was someone reading it on the plane when I flew to Toronto in the summertime. So I made a note of it and I put it on my wish list on Overdrive. So Overdrive is our the service that we provide with downloadable audiobooks and ebooks. And I do a lot of reading on my phone now with Overdrive.
Yes. Yeah.
It's very convenient. So I've just started Nudge. I'm wondering, it's kind of like a
self-help.
It's not quite self-help. It's more economics mixed with self-help.
Interesting.
So the Think Like a Freak?
Freakonomics.
Freakonomics. It's got that kind of vibe to it, that Freakonomics.
Interesting, okay.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen with it.
Excellent. So we're still on reduced hours, kind of sort of this week. We're closed today, New Year's Eve. We're closed tomorrow, New Year's Day. And then January 2nd, back to normal hours.
Yes. And if you want to find out what's going to be happening at the library starting in January, you can check our website,
www.cumberlandpubliclibraries.ca.
And we have a calendar of events there. So next week, numbers, challenges, staff picks. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we won't have our official numbers here today because we're recording next week. But we are going to talk about our favorites of 2018.
See you next week.
Happy New Year.